You just got engaged, or you know somebody who just got engaged. So now what happens next? Here to answer that question is Renee Miner from Empyrean Events and Catering, and I would suggest they just got engaged to call you right away.
Yeah, we actually I was telling you, we finished a bridal show this weekend, and so many people were engaged over the holiday season. We kind of call it engagement season, not
It is. That's
holiday
when I got
season.
engaged. I mean, it's
right.
You know, because
Yeah,
it's romantic.
It's natural, right?
We knew that we were going to see all the relatives, so we could show off the ring. And so my
exactly
wife
right.
was like, you know,
It takes a little pressure off that you know that you've got the holidays too.
Right.
So we saw a lot of brides that were just newly engaged, and the conversation always starts with us, are we thinking 2017 or are we thinking 2018 or maybe further beyond that? And if we're talking 2017, then we got to jump on it. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. If it's 2018, then you've got a little bit more time as you approach this new year. You may want to start that conversation more with your family before you start really digging in. But my 2017 brides are the ones that we really jump in hands-on with and start the conversation of obviously guest count, because that plays a whole lot
Right.
into the decision. Venues are very much dictated by guest count and then style. And we really want to start listening to the bride. What are you envisioning before we start talking? And that really plays a whole lot into that initial conversation.
is there a trend that you're seeing? Because I think the last wedding that I had to help plan was maybe 2 years ago.
Lots changed.
But I mean, it's, oh, well, then just
Yeah,
start there.
a lot changes. I mean, there will never be a day when the old traditional, very structured wedding, ceremony at a church, and then you're going off site for reception. That's never going to die. That elegance and very traditional wedding will always be in trend. However, we are seeing all of our brides start the conversation of, well, how do we make it more about us? And how
Right.
do we start pulling in personal style and taste? And that's what's important to us at Empyrean. Our designers are very much minded in what's important to you and what that reflection is. And then we start sourcing venues, and then we start talking food and beverage. And there's a lot that goes into it that we can personalize rather than just that blanket, packaged wedding.
Right. Now, I was going to ask, though, just even about guest count.
Yeah.
Are you seeing rather have all their friends and family there and lower the cost, maybe on what they spend? Or is it like, no, I want what I spend and then however many people we can afford?
Both is the answer to
Okay.
that. Again, you're always going to have that traditional larger 300, 400. That's not going to go away. Our average is in 150, 200.
Okay.
We've had several weddings in the last year that were 30, 60. I mean, that smaller, more intimate allows you a lot of things. A lot of flexibility, obviously, with budget, but it also allows you an opportunity to make it more personal for you. It's hard to personalize for 400 people.
Sure.
But it is very easy to do that for 60. And again, that's all about personal style, and your family's opinion matters in that.
I was just watching some of those pictures go by, and I just want you to do flowers here. I mean, we don't even have to have a wedding. Just, I mean, that's really something spectacular.
There are so many elements that go into a wedding. Obviously, we start venue conversation first. That dictates a lot. And then catering is always paired in with that. And then we start talking those auxiliary services. Floral, obviously, being one of those. And Empyrean services are so broad that we can be many of those components in different places. A lot of the conversation for our brides internally that are having their reception with us, that all starts food and beverage, and then we start talking pretty with decor. When we have off-premise brides, so they're looking for perhaps the embassy or the courthouse, the Performing Arts Center, there are so many places, we're going to obviously start talking food and beverage from a proposal standpoint, and then decor. And is that a service that we need to pair in, or is it one or the other? So there's so many options to consider when you start.
It's fantastic. If you haven't ever been up to where Empyrean is located, it's the old Summit Club, and that venue is just spectacular. And then, of course, the fact that you can go all over town with Empyrean. We want to dive into maybe those things you haven't thought of yet. You've got the wedding in mind. What about the rehearsal dinner and things like that? Stay right there. EmpyreanEvents.com is EmpyreanEventsFW.com is where you'll find out more online, or give them a call at 444-4688. We'll be right back on Insight.